Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons and Dragons advice video on bad guys, how to run bad guys. I'm titling this one Bad Guys Aren't Stupid. One of the things that really irritates me is when I'm playing in a game and the group confronts a major villain, the dungeon master plays him or her or it like it's a halfwit or some kind of a novice. Major villains, even if they are not the cream of the crop, should be played with all the intelligence and cunning of a ruthless mafia boss. Big boss types of villains are masterminds and should be played as such. If you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. I wrote a 3-book science fiction Western series called Drifters. I wrote a fun story about a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. It's called The House Off Farrago Road. I wrote a political fantasy called The Righteous President. And I'm working on the third in a series. The first two are Vanguard 1 and Task Force Terminus. They're futuristic science fiction, space warfare. It's a study of humanity from an alien perspective. Hope you get it. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy all my books. Now, back to Bad Guys Aren't Stupid. Extremely intelligent villains will plan ahead for a variety of circumstances and situations. Have a way out. That's the primary thing. A secret tunnel, a hidden passage or door, a trap door, etc. is not out of the realm of reason. If the villain has access to magic spells, a quick invisibility spell, feign death, meld into that one's a little tricky, but meld into stone, transport via plants, spider climb, rope trick, plane shift, teleportation, word of recall, etc., they can effect a needed getaway. Remember, villains of this stature didn't get to their status position by being lazy or failing to plan ahead. All right? Another thing that many dungeon masters fail to realize is that any villain worth his salt will use whatever means at his disposal to give himself every advantage in combat. Tricks, traps, and triggered attacks work for almost every villain. Punji stake traps, falling rocks, false passages, etc. will delay and damage foes prior to the actual meeting. Remember, the Viet Cong had no magic, and their booby traps did considerable damage. Most of the time, they were nowhere around. They set up the trap and leave. Somebody's going to run into it. Do not discount a torch and oily floors. If the villain has magic because if there's oil all over the floor and the player characters have to go through there, some no-name peon runs out there and throws a torch. Yeah, that's a significant thing. If the villain has magic capabilities, so much the better. Glyphs and wards are amazingly effective. Symbol spells are even more so. Remember, a smart person, in this case the villain, sets himself up for victory. Anything he can do to thin the ranks of the enemies arrayed against him is fair game. A black dragon is comfortable in a pool of acid. Hint, hint. As for the actual combat, if the villain knows the player characters are coming, there are whole arrays of precautions he can take. Minions can set up ambushes, including area effect triggers and traps. Traps and tricks can be used, as I stated earlier. Packs of guard dogs can be set upon them. It all depends on the resources of the villain. Local constabulary can be influenced to attack them through bribes or deceit. Literally, the sky is the limit. If the villain has magical capabilities, remember to bolster his person with protective spells like Stone Skin, Contingency, protection spells, invisibility, etc. Once combat is joined, the villain needs to deal as much damage as possible in the shortest time as possible to as many enemies as possible. Think the best bang for the buck. Fireballs, cloud kill, that kind of thing. Call lightning, flame strike, etc. These are all very, very effective. Spells with no saving throws should have preference because when a player character is a high level individual, their saving throws are easy to make. And if you have a big bad spell, but they make their save, the spell sometimes the spell is useless. Fireballs, you save, you take half damage, but you still take half damage. But if a spell is negated by a savings throw, it's almost useless against higher level, more powerful creatures. Chain Lightning is especially useful against groups of those pesky fighter types that just love their plate mail. Let me tell you. Dragons should start out with breath weapons and take to the air as soon as possible. Strafing runs are sheer murder on ground troops, because it's very difficult to hit a moving target in the air with a bow. They can use spells against it, and that's cool. But this is the most effective thing a dragon can do. The only dragon I can think of that's less effective for would be a black dragon. But black dragons spewing acid from the air are still pretty damn effective. That's what I'm saying. Powerful demons and devils who are immune to fire can detonate fireballs on their feet, and anyone within the range of the spell is toast. The area of effect, Don't forget the melee capabilities of the villain. A lot of the villains, they have powerful magic weapons. Dragons are hellacious in a fist fight because they use claws and bites and like that. It's just nasty. It's absolutely nasty. After all of that, if the battle is going against the villain, he should not be afraid to run away. Remember the way out. Remember the way out that he's planned for, and multiple ways out are better. He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Discretion is the better part of, valor may not be the right word for the villain, but you get the idea. If the player characters let the villain escape, they should feel suitably pissed off. After all, he was within their grasp and he survived. This should spur them on to do better next time. They should strive to not underestimate him in the next encounter. If your villains are pushovers, your players will not take your game seriously. They will eventually grow bored and find another game. Conversely, if your villains are all unbeatable super geniuses with 30th level spell capability and immunities out the yang, the players will wonder why you hate them and want to kill off their player characters with no chance of victory. Your villains need to be appropriate for the story and your players' character. Your players' characters have to have the capability to defeat them. I'll get it out in a minute. Your villains need to pose a challenge for them, but not overwhelm them. Remember, your goal is not a total party kill, but rather the appearance of an attempted total party kill. If player characters have no chance, but the players force the confrontation, give them an obvious way out. Then, if they press on with the combat, you're in the clear. You can kill all of them and with a clear conscience because they had a way out. They chose to continue. Play your villains to their strengths according to their intelligence and motivations. An intelligent villain will not expend resources or take unnecessary risks on a battle he does not have to win. If the player characters invade his home, he may fight to protect it, but if the home is not necessary to the culmination of his grand scheme, he should have no qualms of abandoning it if necessary. But also keep in mind that in the villain's home, wherever possible, security, such as traps, tricks, guards, alarms, etc., will be overlapping, tight, and innovative. This guy has had a long time to make his home secure, and he's not stupid. I have seen dungeon masters run really brilliant games, and when it gets to the culmination where they're fighting the big bad guy, they kill him off in 2 turns because the bad guy is not appropriate to the player characters. During the course of the adventure, you have to keep note of your player characters and update your bad guys, because if you set them up for if you run them from first level and the bad guy's appropriate to them, then by the time they get to 6th level or 10th level or whatever, they're going to overpower him. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay, your bad guy's power level has to be flexible. As a dungeon master, remember your objective is to create a fun game for your players. If you're not doing that, then what's the point? Hope this finds everybody, and you should be flexible in doing so. Okay, your players are supposed to be having fun. If you don't challenge them, and if you don't pay attention to their characters, what they can and can't do, yeah, you could be robbing them of that high that they get from defeating the villain. You see what I'm saying? And he has to be worthy of them. Otherwise, oh, okay, we killed that guy next. Yeah. Hope this finds everybody well, and I hope these videos are useful. Again, I'm not trying to tell people how to run their game. Feel free to use, abuse, or ignore any of my information. I'm just trying to help you with my 40-something years of experience. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.